Guys, one of the reasons why it's so important for President Trump to keep fighting as hard as he can to try to get a positive outcome in this election is because of people like Jemele Hill, who are unabashedly sexist and also racist. Okay? And that's the reason why President Trump, again, needs to do everything that he can do to continue to fight and try to save the outcome of this election. Particularly, he's trying to challenge Arizona. He's also trying to challenge Michigan and Wisconsin. And he's trying his best to hold on to the lead that we have in Pennsylvania right now. This is currently what's happening. But for right now, I want to talk about a sneak preview of what we're going to get from the left for the next 4 years, specifically from militant racists like Jemele Hill, if there's a Biden presidency. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman, and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a liberal's worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys. So Jemele Hill, you guys remember her, the fired ESPN analyst who got too woke on national TV, and they put her on the chopping block. And before this election even came around, she started blaming black men for President Trump being reelected when it looked like black men were voting for Trump in large swaths, which actually is true according to the exit polls from CNN, in which Joe Biden has severely underperformed Hillary Clinton with black women and with black men, with Latino women and with Latino men. He basically lost in all those demographics. So, but now the night of the election, she comes out with a revolutionary idea, and she decides she wants to blame white people for a Trump re-election, which makes perfect sense to me because Jemele Hill once said that straight black men were the white people of black people. So her blaming white people is just her finding another way to blame black men for anything that she doesn't agree with. When in fact, Trump underperformed with white men this election. Back in 2016, Trump was plus 31. 2020, Trump is plus 18. And slightly overperformed with white women. Trump was up plus 9. Now Trump is up plus 12. So first of all, what she's saying is just factually incorrect. Now, what she's also saying is patently racist. And this is the type of racist language that Twitter refuses to censor, even though they want to censor every single one of President Trump's tweets, right? When this man is trying to fight for the election, trying to fight for our democracy. But they won't censor this language that Jemele Hill repeatedly spouts on a daily basis, showing racism and sexism towards black men and white people. Can you imagine a white person that tweeted, if Joe Biden wins, it's because of black people, because black people didn't vote Trump? Like, have you ever heard any white person or Republican say something like that? I've never heard that type of language from anybody on the right. The idea that you can blame a certain group of people for your candidate losing or for a candidate winning, and then put it under this veil of white supremacy or racism, is really ridiculous, especially considering the fact that minority support for President Trump is up. He's improved on that since 2016. So as all the minorities that voted for Trump, are they voting against their own best interests? Are they racist? I mean, you got to make it make sense, Jemele Hill. I mean, that's her favorite phrase, make it make sense. You got to make it make sense for me. If President Trump was such a racist, a white supremacist, why is his support up with minorities? Why did he overperform? Why did he blow Joe Biden out in that category from a historical perspective? President Trump just had one of the best performances with minorities than any Republican candidate in a long, long time. When you think about these numbers, right, the amount of votes that came from, the so-called minorities, it just shows that something has to be up. Like, how can Trump not win with these type of numbers? I mean, it's crazy to even think about. I mean, this man outperformed with minorities to a historic level. I mean, it's just crazy to think about at this point that we're currently in the position that we're in right now, considering the amount of support that this man had. So who knows what's really going on? Look at what they had to do to try to win, guys. Think about all the things they've done up until this point that they've had to do to win. I mean, the mainstream media is completely one-sided. Social media is completely one-sided. The politicians was completely one-sided. I mean, a lot of the establishment Republicans were against Trump. They had to do all of this plus what they're doing right now during the election. The riots, the protests, they had to burn down their own cities, guys, to get to this point. And they are barely ahead. That's if you even can accept the results that we have on paper right now. Again, it just doesn't make sense. And people like Jemele Hill continue to go on Twitter and spout nonsense, not knowing what the hell they're talking about. They don't know about anything. And it's a shame. I mean, this person has over 1 million followers. And this is the type of rhetoric that she's putting out there into the world, this divisive, hateful, racist, sexist rhetoric. Freedom of speech is under attack. Only this type of speech is acceptable. Twitter's not blocking this. They're not censoring this. They're letting her say whatever she want to say. And she's been doing this literally the whole time, guys. This is what's going to happen under Biden administration and a Kamala administration. It's going to be openly okay to accuse every white person of being a white supremacist and every black man of being a sexist. And I'm just making this video because I need people to understand that if things don't go our way this election, this is what we have to be prepared for. We have to be prepared for this, guys, because this type of language and rhetoric is now going to be something that we're going to have to deal with on a daily basis, that we're going to hear from people like her. They're going to feel emboldened, and they're going to have the okay from this administration to continue to fan the flames of racism in this country, because they know they need that in order to continue to get reelected in this country. I actually tweeted at Jemele Hill, guys, in response to her ridiculous tweet about white people being to blame if President Trump is reelected. I said people like Jemele Hill think that they can solve racism by being openly racist to the same people they are begging for acceptance from. That's the type of mindset that she has. She's supposed to be trying to solve racism, bridge the so-called racist gap between white people and black people, but yet all she wants to do is talk about white supremacy all day, say derogatory things about white people, while the polls are showing, the exit polls are showing that black people and white people are more together and aligned under the Republican Party and President Trump than they are on her side of the aisle. If you talking about want to solve racism, look at what's going on with the Republican Party right now. Even if President Trump doesn't pull out this election, look at what's going on. Look at the polls. More so-called people of color have moved towards the Republican Party, the conservative platform. And according to the New York Times, almost 18% of black men voted for President Trump. So this is something where even if the Democrats claim victory, this victory is only temporary, guys. It's only temporary because the Republican Party and the platform is going to come back much stronger. The amount of damage that we've done to the Democrat Party is irreparable. The Democrat Party no longer has the so-called minorities under their belt where they think that their vote is just guaranteed at every election. They don't have that anymore, guys. This election showed a clear rejection of the far-left, feminist, Black Lives Matter social agenda that wants to take down the patriarchy. This election was a referendum on the far-left agenda. We have totally and completely rejected the far-left social agenda. Completely. That's what's happening here, folks. If you can find a silver lining out of any of this, that's the silver lining, guys. Looking at these exit polls, looking at the way the Republican Party is going, this party is transforming into something that is going to be a thing of beauty to behold. There are minorities leaving the Democrat Party in massive droves. They do not have a stranglehold on that demographic anymore, guys. They do not. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.